Hi, I'm Karen Lampiazzi, and I am a broker sales associate with Keller Williams in Ridgewood, New Jersey. I'm also a buyer specialist with the Laura Gill Group. I have over 20 years of experience working with buyers just like you, helping them find the home of their dreams and win them in bidding wars. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to win in a hot market and why in real estate bidding wars it can be more than just about price. So all we hear about on the news is how hot the real estate market is and about how many bidding wars are happening and how hard it is for buyers to find a house and actually be the winning bid. So today I want to delve into what kind of strategies you can use to structure an offer that will be the one that's accepted by the seller and that involves more than just being the highest price. So the first thing I want you to do is put together what I like to call your all-star team. And there are 4 people that are on your team when you're looking to buy a house that you need to identify and have a relationship with, ideally from the very beginning of your process or pretty soon thereafter. So the first person is the buyer's agent. And a buyer's agent is somebody who's going to represent you and help you through your transaction from the first time you start looking at homes to successfully being the winning offer and negotiating that deal and closing and handing you the keys to your new home. The second person is a mortgage lender, and you want to have a well-respected local lender who realtors trust and who can give you a very strong pre-approval letter. Third person is a real estate attorney. Now I'm going to say those words one more time. A real estate attorney, not just any old attorney, not a trust in estates or a marital or a litigator. They need to be a real estate attorney, local in the area that you're looking in, that the realtors know. This will help you in the long run. Last off is a home inspector, and we'll talk a little bit more about home inspections in a second. So what's a buyer's agent? I think most people have a misconception about the real estate process and don't really realize that it doesn't cost you anything as a buyer to have a buyer's agent. Both the listing agent and the buyer's agent are paid for by the seller, but who we represent in those cases is obviously very different. So as a buyer's agent, our job is to be looking out for you and to try to get you the best deal possible. But having an experienced local expert who knows the market and who knows the town and who can have a consultation with you to talk about what things you're looking for in the home, what things you're looking for in the town, what do you need your commute to be like, what are other things that are important to you in this process, and help identify homes and towns and a strategy for getting you to be the winning successful bidder. Third, the real estate attorney. And like I said before, I'm going to say those important words again, real estate attorney. I cannot tell you how many times in the 20 plus years I've been doing this, I've had a client say, well, my brother-in-law is a matrimonial lawyer and said he's going to do me a favor and he could do my closing for free. Or my husband has a friend whose cousin is an attorney, but they're like far away somewhere else in Jersey, and they said they can cover the closing for us. All of these, non-real estate attorneys add a layer of complication and uncertainty to the deal that you do not want. There are in any town, a nice list of well-respected real estate attorneys that do the bulk of real estate closings in that market. Please use one of them, because the realtors on both sides, your realtor and the seller's realtor, will have a lot more confidence that this deal is going to move smoothly. It's not going to get hung up with, ridiculous problems that should not become problems, because it's not a real estate attorney who understands how things are supposed to be done. You want to have an experienced real estate attorney that's local and well known by the local realtor community to do your closing. This is not the area when you're buying a home that you want to try to save a few $100s. I'm sure there's other places you can save the money, but this is not the place to skimp. And you want to make sure that you're well represented, but that you're represented by somebody with credibility in your market. All right, last is the home inspector. So one of the things we're going to talk about in the coming slides is how you can structure your deal to be stronger by tightening up or partially modifying or waiving your home inspection contingency. But a lot of that relies on making sure you have a home inspector who can get in there quickly, give you an analysis of what's going on in the house, let you know if there's any major red flags, get a report done quickly. So again, get names from your buyer's agent or from your real estate attorney, but find out how far out are they booking their appointments? How quick are they to turn around their reports? You need somebody, especially if it's a competitive situation, who can do this really quickly and get you the information fast. So get some names from your team and stick with those. So now I have two really important tips on things to think about when you're putting together your offer. Number one is ask your buyer's agent to talk to the listing agent and find out, other than price, what might be important to the sellers. What kind of things are important to them, might be helpful to making their closing a smooth transaction. Most times the seller's agent is just going to say, just make your best offer and, we'll take it from there. Push your buyer's agent to delve a little bit deeper and ask some more questions. Be a little bit of a detective. Are these sellers moving out of state? Are they downsizing? Are they perhaps older and a little more nervous about getting packed up and making two closings happen on the same day and moving and all of these things? Maybe an extra few days or a week of post-closing occupancy would be really valuable to their peace of mind to know that they didn't have to make it all happen on one day. Perhaps they have some special things in the home that they want to be able to take that are sentimental, like some lighting fixtures or whatever it might be. Maybe you could say, don't worry about replacing those, just take what you want and we'll take care of, replacing it when we get in. The other piece of the puzzle is, what things are they as sellers concerned that could happen that might derail their deal? And typically it falls into one of two baskets. One is home inspection issues that might come up and that overwhelm them, or financing issues that might come up that could derail the deal. So you need to think, what can you offer as the buyer that could help reduce those issues of stress? So what are the red flags in an offer? What are the things that are in there that can make a seller go, I'm not really sure if I want to take this offer or not? So there's a few main areas. Number one is if you say that the purchase of the house is contingent upon the sale of your house. Obviously, if you own a house and you need to sell it in order to buy, that's what feels really safe to you to say, that it's contingent upon the sale of your house. It's leaving you all these outs, like if you don't find a buyer or your buyer doesn't close, you can walk away from the deal. That's great for you as a buyer. And in a buyer's market, when there's not a lot of buyers out there and the sellers are a little bit more desperate, they may consider that. However, in a seller's market, if they're getting an offer from a buyer whose offer is contingent upon the sale of their home versus an offer from somebody who could say, I have nothing I need to sell in order to purchase your home, which one do you think is going to feel more secure for them? They're going to lean towards the one that has no contingencies for the sale of their home. So if you're a renter, this is obviously an easy thing for you to do. You are in a tremendously advantageous position as a renter. If you can say those magic words, I have nothing I need to sell in order to buy your home. Music to my ears. But what about the buyers who need to sell in order to get the money out for their down payment, in order to qualify for a mortgage? They need to sell. And if their deal falls through on the sale of their home, they are not going to be able to purchase. It is a tough position to be in. So in a hot market like this, you have a couple of options. Number one is you may want to consider actually selling and closing on the sale of your home and finding a short-term rental or staying with family or finding a 6-month or a month-to-month rental, but putting yourself in a really cash liquid position where you don't have to rely on a series of transactions to happen in order to have your money. And the real risk when it comes to this contingent upon the sale of your home is it's not just contingent upon the sale of your home, it's contingent upon your buyer being able to purchase your home, which may be contingent on somebody buying their home, which may be contingent on somebody buying their home. And all it takes is one little cog in this little wheel of transactions for the whole thing to fall apart. And suddenly, and it may not be it falls apart permanently, it could just simply be that now it's delayed by a month, but that could be enough to cause the seller of the home you're looking at to lose the home they're trying to purchase. And so this is really like one of those key issues that if you can find a way to make it not contingent upon the sale of your home, you will be in an infinitely better position. Some of the other things people will consider doing is waiving their mortgage contingency. Now, that is a very risky proposition if you are not truly an all-cash buyer. So you can waive the appraisal, because sometimes the issue right now is people are concerned that as the bidding wars are happening and the prices are going up, that the house might not appraise for that full value. So that's also a concern that the seller might have, right? So they're accepting offers, the price is going up, and they're like, well, what if our buyer doesn't get it to appraise for the full amount they need in order to get this mortgage that they need in order to close? So what you can do is say that you're going to waive the appraisal contingency. Now, that does put a little bit of risk back on you. So let's kind of walk through a scenario. Let's say that the house is now selling for $750, but it only appraises at $730. You're going to have to make up the difference in cash between that $730 and $750. So you need to be somebody who has a larger cash reserve, or could perhaps borrow from a family member, or cash out some stocks or bonds or retirement, whatever it is. You need to be able to have a cushion that you can cover what might be a small discrepancy between the appraisal and the purchase price. So waiving that appraisal contingency is an option. The other area that we can focus on in terms of making the offer stronger is modifying the home inspection contingency. So typically, the home inspection contingency starts after attorney review and can run, it really depends on what's in your contract, but it could run for, you have 10 days or you have 14 days, some amount of time before you have to have your home inspection done and turn in your home inspection report. If you're able to, number one, shorten that time, so say you're going to get your home inspection done within 5 days or 6 days, whatever number it is that you feel comfortable giving. Again, speak to your home inspector. How fast can they get in and how fast can they turn around a report? That's why it's important to have that information. So if you shorten your home inspection contingency and you tell them, assuming we don't find any major undisclosed structural defects or environmental concerns that were not disclosed to us in the seller's disclosure, we're willing to take the house in as-is condition. So that shortens their time where they're kind of left hanging out there not knowing, are you going to try to renegotiate the deal? Are you going to try to hit them up for more money? If you have a chance to look at the house and say, I know it's not in perfect condition. I know there are repairs that I'm going to need to do. I've reviewed the seller's disclosure. The heater is a little bit old. The furnace is a little bit old. Or the hot water tank I know is going to need to be replaced. Or it needs a little bit of this or a little bit of that. Or the roof is 20 years old. I know I may have to do the roof soon. Whatever it is, if it's stuff that you know and you've factored into your thinking and your price, you need to then say, as long as the inspection doesn't turn up anything that I'm not aware of, that is so major that it's going to really dramatically impact my desire to buy the house, I'm willing to take it as is. I'm not going to ask for any credits for any of these inspection issues. And at least that tightens the time frame for them and removes a lot of risk. So that's one additional way that you can try to strengthen the offer. Okay, and then the other thing is, you don't want to come in with a lowball offer well below what the market value of the home is, because if there's a lot of offers coming in, you may just be kicked out. You may not even be somebody they come back and do a negotiation with if there's a lot of offers. So you want to make sure you have a strong financial offer with a strong mortgage pre-approval. If you can waive an appraisal issue and you're able to do that and comfortable doing that, you can consider doing that. If you're comfortable modifying your home inspection and tightening up the time frame and taking it as is, that's another really strong thing to be able to do. So look at those areas when making your offer, because those are non-financial price point issues that can really help you stand out in a crowd of offers. So there is a difference, and it's important for you to kind of get this in your head and get comfortable with it. There is a difference between list price and market value. List price is really an arbitrary number that the listing agent decides to market the house at, that they think is going to ultimately bring the highest amount of money for their seller. Now, sometimes people overprice it. Let's say they started at $750 instead of $700. They put a list price of $750. But at $750, there's not like a ton of buyers looking at it, or the buyers that look at it go, I don't know, it's okay, I'm going to keep looking, it's nice, it's good, but I'm not sure, and there isn't a ton of activity, and suddenly, a month later, they're having to drop it by $25,000 or $30,000 or $35,000 to kind of generate new interest in the property. Versus some agents may list it at $700 or $699, and at $699, suddenly there are 10 buyers who think this is a great value and they want to make an offer, and ultimately it goes for $730. So even though $730 may have been the right price all along, it's a matter of generating excitement and enthusiasm and getting to the true market value of the home. And some agents do it by listing high, assuming you're going to negotiate down, and some agents do it by listing low, knowing that the market is going to actually set the price and find the right number for what the market value is. So never be afraid of negotiating either way when it comes to what that price is, but the key is to talk to your buyer's agent and find out what they think about that price. Is that a fair price? Do they feel it's going to go above? Do they think at this particular price point in the market there's a lot of buyers and it's likely to escalate? Because ultimately, market value is simply how much a ready, willing, and able and financially qualified buyer is willing to pay at any given time. Here's kind of the walkthrough from beginning to end of how your process is going to go. You're going to go out, you're going to pick a buyer's agent to work with. You're going to start seeing some houses, see everything that comes on the market. You're going to find one that you love. You're going to say, okay, I'm ready to make an offer on this house. Now you want your buyer's agent to find out, are there more than one offer coming in on this? How many? How is it being handled? Is it being handled as everybody's making a first round offer, then they're going to individually negotiate with a couple of the highest offers? Is it going to go to a second round of final and best offer? How are they working it? That will help you determine what kind of strategy you're going to use for making your offer. Then you want to make a strong offer financially, and you also want to eliminate as many contingencies and concerns that the seller might have as possible. And those things include closing date, having a strong pre-approval from a recognized lender, making sure that you have a competent real estate attorney that you're telling the seller's agent that you're going to be using, because they may say, well, who's their attorney? As they accept an offer. And again, you don't want something coming up where it's kind of like, that's not so good. Lastly, the other thing that can help swing the emotion for a seller in your favor is write a personal letter. A lot of these sellers have been in their homes for many years. They've raised their families. They've had, wonderful memories. That they want to know, sometimes more than money, that it's going to somebody who really appreciates the things that they've done. So restrain from saying, I'm going to knock this down and knock down this wall and whatever, do all these things. Show the appreciation for the love and time and things they've put into the home, and show how you can envision you and your loved ones living there, and appeal to the emotion, because sometimes that can be the tipping point that makes a bit of a difference, is that personal face that it puts on the offer. So really think about that as well. And congratulations, you have a house. So hopefully you are the winning and successful bid, and you move in and all goes well, and you can start your journey living in your new dream house. Thanks for taking the time to watch this little informational video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me after the video during the Q&A period. If you're watching this video at another point in time on a replay, you feel free to call me on my cell phone. My number is right there, 917-445-1157, or email me at karen@lauragillgroup.com. And make sure you follow me on my Facebook page, which is Love the Suburban Life, where I have lots of informative articles and tips and information on towns and lots of goodies that I like to post there periodic. So become a follower of my page. And thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.